Hello and welcome to HyzerMedia's coverage of the 23rd Annual Great Eastern Amateur Cup at Tyler State Park, presented by BS Upshot and BCDGA. I'm your host, Brett Hensley, and I'm joined here in the virtual booth with Michael Grofsick. How's it going, Mike? Who do we have on the card today?
Doing pretty well. Good to be here. We are going to have a few good competitors on the card today. We're starting with Zach Sharp, who was actually last year's winner of this event. Joining him, we have John McKernan Jr., Anthony Maldonado, and Evan Van Schie. The players are pretty close in rating, so this should be a good contest.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Let's get into it. Hole 1, welcome to Tyler State Park. Welcomes you with a gap shot here, 493-foot par 4. You want to throw kind of your straightest putter or mid to get out the gap, or if you want to be really aggressive, you can try to make the right bend around the corner. The basket slopes down green to OB in the back on the road. So we'll see what they've got here. It looks like Zach's leading us off here.
Definitely a fun starter hole at Tyler State Park.
That's a good start.
And there's a common miss there. Zach just kind of pulled that a little left and hit a tree there. So he'll have to scramble for that par. Next, looks like we've got John.
Looks like he was trying to do what you were talking about, just kind of get out of the gap with a putter, but fades out a little early on him.
Yeah, he didn't quite get enough flip on that to carry him out of the tunnel. Next we got, looks like Anthony's lining up a forehand shot here, maybe trying to make the corner.
Definitely looks like a higher speed disc, so I think he's playing the aggressive play, but once again, just a little bit off. Gets a nice little kick out into the fairway, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can get one of those kicks here at Tyler, you take it. And it looks like Evan, rounding out the card, is going to try to make the corner with a forehand. It's going high.
Did you get around it?
And it looks like he pulled it a little off to the early right side, but he progressed the furthest down the fairway out of the 4.
Nobody really getting off to the best start on hole 1, but there's a couple of lies that should allow for hopefully at least a decent look at par.
I think they may have been over there looking for Zach's disc after it kicked off the tree. Looks like Anthony's first to go. Just gets another shot at the forehand, and this time he gets it out of the gap. And right on the fairway. He should have a pretty easy upshot and get up and down for his par.
Yeah, it was a very nice follow-up to the unfortunately poor drive off the box.
Looks like John can lean out a little here and maybe get a little aggressive. But it looks like he's playing out to the fairway, and he's kind of on the fringe there on the right side. That'll be a tricky upshot.
All right, coming
Looks
out.
like they found Zach's disc. And he might just be looking to pitch out here. There he goes. He's out on the fairway now.
Not the worst place to be after 2 shots. Not where you want to be, but also not the worst place.
No, not at all. Looks like Evan might have an up and down here for birdie. But he hits the branch just a little bit too high, and he may have had that one.
That might have been the height he was looking for there and just got the angle wrong with that forehand, hoping to fade back into the basket.
Oh, nice shot there by Zach, and it looks like it trickled out onto the OB and came back in, so that was a pretty fortunate roll there.
Yeah, it's definitely a hole where you have to decide how aggressive you want to be with the OB pretty close behind.
Absolutely, that hillside will just pull the disc right down into the OB if you're not careful. Speed control is really important on these upshots.
Speaking of which, the speed control on that last shot was fantastic.
And
This one, not so much.
Anthony overcooked it a little bit there. So Evan will still have a long look at birdie here. But that's a tough one to run. I don't blame him for laying that up.
Yeah, if you can take a par on hole 1, you really don't want to, or an easy par rather, you really don't want to have to turn that into a bogey or even a double bogey with the out-of-bounds stroke.
There you go. Big putt to start your round there, saving the bogey after the OB stroke. Good putt by Anthony.
And that is a That is a big putt because the average on this hole is just under 5, so taking a 5 is not the worst thing, but starting your day with a double is not where you want to be.
Yeah, good point. This actually played as the third most difficult hole on the east side. It averaged almost a stroke over par.
Same kind of putt from Zach there. He didn't go out of bounds, but he ended up with the bogey as well. It looked like John and Evan had the same idea there because I think their discs were pretty much on top of each other.
Let's go, boys.
But a really quality par there.
Basically gaining a stroke on the field, so you're going to be happy with that par all day.
Hole 2, we have a really tight gap off the tee. You want to throw likely a backhand turnover shot that's going to kind of ride the right side, get through a few trees, and get down at the basket. There is a forehand line as well, which we're going to see John throw here. I think it shapes up a little bit better for the backhand, but forehands can certainly get through as well.
Definitely looks like the forehand makes it a much tighter line, as we see with him hitting the second tree there.
There's also a little local gap off to the right side. We'll see if any of these guys take that little cheater gap there.
It does look to be the most open of the lines.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, there's Evan. Oh, man, but he kicks right. That's a tough break there.
Looks like Zach might be lining up the main gap with his lefty forehand. Oh no, he went for the local route, as you said.
Yeah, he's over there. I don't know if that was high enough, though, to get down to the basket. And it looks like Anthony's going to go forehand through the intended gap. Nope, he also takes the local gap. This looks like, it had the height, but again, a lot of trees in the way there to get through.
Yeah, the height was good, but unfortunately you are fighting with a lot when you're up that high.
So Evans can have a tricky upshot here to get up and down almost on the A pin, or the AT, and he kind of pulled that one off to the right. John's going to work the left side. There is some OB over there, but it looks like, okay, he stayed on. It looks like he's around circle's edge to save his par.
I think he just barely cleared that big log pile there. Might have been a bit fortunate with that shot.
I think this is Zach's shot. It looks like he got out, and he'll probably have about a circle's edge putt. Maybe, yeah, just outside the circle to save his par.
And I believe that's only Evan's second. I think he was the only one that had
that was Evan's
distance.
Third shot, actually, so he'll be putting for bogey.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yep. And there was Anthony's second, so he'll have the chance there to get his par. It looks like Zach's going to start off his round with a couple of bogeys. Tough break for the defending champ.
He took a good line there on that putt, but just didn't have the height necessary. He didn't trust it quite enough.
Oh, John's putt just kind of fell out of the sky there. He got the nose down. It just wasn't high enough. For hole 2. Shout out to Jeremy Guth, only birdie of the day on this hole in the field of 14 players.
Yeah, I definitely have no issues with cleanup.
So we got a couple pars, couple bogeys.
It really shows you how tough Tyler is because it's only a 220-foot hole.
Absolutely. So we go to hole 3. This is one of the more signature holes at Tyler State Park. It's a par 5, 804 feet. you really kind of want to break this hole down into a few different shots. You need a few golf shots to hit the fairway, kind of hit that gap right out the tee, get to the B pin, and then you'll have about 300 or so feet to get to the well-guarded C pin up on this newly formed rock boulder ledge here with an elevated basket and OB behind the basket. So lots of things can go wrong on this hole. There's natural OB, there's a whole OB left side if you fade out. And we'll see what Anthony's got to start things off here. Looks like he's on the fairway. Maybe leaking a little left, but I think you take that all day.
Yeah, I think you'll take the distance, even if you're just slightly off to the side, which it looked like he still had a pretty good shot.
Absolutely.
Definitely going to be happy with that. Because as we saw with the statistics, as signature holes tend to do, it played over a stroke over par. So.
Yep. Absolutely hardest hole on the course today. And it looks like John leaked into the OB on the left.
Yeah, you never really want to throw your disc to where a group of people are jogging for exercise. That's probably not where you want to be.
Certainly not. See, Evan's trying the forehand route here. Looks like he leaked over to the right a little bit, but he bit off quite a bit of distance. We'll see what he has for his next shot. And then this sets up really nicely for the lefty backhand if you can get one down there. But it looks like Zach pulled this a little and hit a tree, and he's going to be scrambling again for the third time in a row. And so we get to his scramble shot here. And he's safe, but he's again off to the other side rough.
He probably won't be the only one. It's kind of a scramble hole.
Absolutely. And then you can see here, the OB, going OB provides you really no break because you got to play back over the left side rough. Looks like John did that very well. I think he's in the fairway.
All right, I'm coming out.
Definitely a solid recovery shot there from John. As we see somebody coming out of the way. I think this might be Evan. Yep, it was Evan.
Good scramble shot there to get close to the B pin. And then here's the best drive of the group by Anthony. Let's see what he can do. Looked like that kind of came out of his hand a little weird and went off to the right OB, so he'll be scrambling there to get a hopefully to save his par with the rest of the group.
He did at least cut off, again, a good amount of distance before ending up over there.
Looks like John had a pretty good flex forehand shot there that got out into the fairway again. It looks like Zach's digging out here.
Zach has been one with the trees so far. I hope to get that back on track shortly. That does not look like a good start down that path.
Looks like he's still in the rough. Evan's got a tight swing here on these log piles.
Come out.
Oh, he executed it nicely. Little flex forehand and a great kick back on the fairway.
Sometimes obstacles like that'll change your throw in a way that subconsciously actually helps you.
Yeah, maybe gets your release a little higher so the disc goes a little further. Good recovery shot there from Zach. He should be able to get up and down from there. I think we have Anthony here coming out of the woods for his third shot.
It's going to be a lot of squinting through the foliage for viewers today.
For sure. Looks like he got back out to the fairway, so hopefully he can get up and down there to save his par. And John's in a good position to attack the green if he can keep it high enough and get over the boulders. Looks like a great shot. He should be on the green.
Sounds like the other players were excited for him.
You have to have a little bit of distance control on this green. There is OB behind the basket, about maybe 20 to 25 feet. And unfortunately, it looked like Anthony caught a tree right before the boulders. Evan's lining up a smooth backhand that gets him right in the circle by the pin, so he'll be able to tap that in. Anthony's still going to have to kind of scramble here to get on the green. Looks like he got knocked down short of the boulder wall, so that's going to be a really tough putt from down there.
Yeah, it's a situation where, you never want to hit a tree, but that's a tough one to take because you didn't have that far to go, and you just need to toss something up there nice and easy, and hitting that tree and staying behind the wall is it's a tough break.
Yeah, for sure. See if he can knock down this putt. I think it's for bogey. I gave it the height, but he just pulled it right into that tree on the side.
Very common mistake putting up towards a raised basket like that is the late release, trying to get the height and the power on it.
Yeah, certainly. Evan with a solid putt there, but a really quality par there on a tough hole.
And that's the thing about this hole. Again, if you look at the hole stats, double bogey, you're not even losing a full stroke to the field at double bogey. So it's just kind of one of those holes.
Get in there.
Ooh, up and over. Take them when you can get those.
Zach started the day with his third straight bogey on that one that we saw, but he actually gained a little bit on the field with the bogey, as did John.
I think he probably had the worst drive of the group too, so that's a really good save. So let's take a look at the leaderboards through 3 holes. We've got Jeremy Guth, the only player under par right now, followed by Ryan Young at even par, and then a lot of players shooting just over par. So we'll go to hole 4, which is a 460-foot par 4. Again, another tunnel gap that you want to kind of just throw the disc straight, play for a placement shot, and then kind of go big backhand hyzer on your second shot to try to have a shot at birdie or at least par. Again, another hole that is probably going to play over par. I believe it was the 4th hardest hole on the course. You see Evan kind of turned it over a little bit to the left. We didn't see where that finished on the fairway, though.
I think it kicked back out off the log into the kind of sort of middle.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be the worst lie for him. It's not the drive you want, but it's not the worst lie.
John pulled one off to the right. That's kind of the common miss. Right-hand, backhand, you pull one off to the right. Luckily, though, it did kick back left. If you kick right, there's a big downhill slope, and it can get very hairy down there trying to get up and down. Oh, and it looks like Zach just pured this.
Very smoothly down the middle there from Zach.
Great shot.
He'll be looking to parlay that great drive into his first non-bogey of the day.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of shot the lefty will have there. He might have to go forehand to get try and get to the pin. It's like Anthony threw a really good hyzer flip here. He's trying to get out to the middle. Fading off to the right, it's not too bad either. Get a little lane, hyzer lane there. So he should have something to work with. And yeah, you were right. It looked like Evan got a pretty decent kick, all things considered.
Yeah, and it actually looked like Anthony, I might have seen it wrong, but it looked like Anthony might have been going with a little bit of a slower speed disc there, maybe just trying to get it straight and kind of hit the fairway, not worry too much about the distance.
It's like John might be going roller here. Oh, that was an unfortunate bounce because it looked like he had that roller right in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, I think he had a pretty good angle on that as well, so really unfortunate, whether it hit a stick or a rock or something, but that took away what could have been a pretty good roller there.
That's a good recovery shot. At least made the corner. And see if he kicked a tree, but he got down there. Rollers at Tyler are really tough. There are so many roots all over this course that a lot of times the rollers just kind of hit those and bounce away. Looks like Anthony has a nice shot lined up here on the fairway, and he's going big. I think he just kind of went straight instead of hooking left, and he may have gone down the hill a bit. We'll see what kind of upshot he has to the pin from there.
That was one of those where you're calling out for your own disc to hit a tree because
For
you know it's going
sure.
to be a better result.
Looks like Zach did have a backhand turnover, and he threw it to perfection. Wow. That is how you play this hole. Well done by Zach.
It's pretty hard to break the hole down into two better shots than those two.
Absolutely. See, Evan can see the basket from here.
Let's go.
Some trees on the left, and unfortunately catches one, but he catches a second one, and it looks like he'll be having a putt there from about circle's edge.
That's the type of hole, too, going back to Zach, that could really, after, starting with 3 bogeys, just a perfect hole like that can really kickstart your day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see if he's able to turn that into some momentum moving forward.
See, John's got a scramble shot again. I did not see that land. Oh, it looks like he may have kicked off to the right side.
He might have kicked, but coming out of his hand, it looked like he might not have just put enough on it. I think it might have just faded out a little bit.
Yeah, that definitely could have been. Looks like he'll at least have a putt there to get up and down and to stop the bleeding on this hole. And we'll see what Anthony's got to go all the way up the hill. He did get pin high on that shot though. And it looks like he got to the log pile there, so hopefully it stayed and he'll have a putt.
Yeah, it must have, with John up here, it must have hit that log pile and just kind of stayed on the ledge there.
Great putt by John there. Circle's edge hit, triple bogey, trying to stop the bleeding there and go to the next hole and forget about it. See what Evan's left with here.
Yeah. Come on, Ed.
Another great putt from maybe just inside the circle's edge, but a really quality par there on a tough hole.
Yeah, the driving hasn't been quite what you want, but we have seen some pretty good putts so far.
Absolutely, and there's a good par there from Anthony after going down the hill. And it looks like Zach's going to have a tap-in birdie and the first birdie for our card. There it is, he's on the board.
Gaining almost 2 strokes on the field with that birdie.
He was one of 2 birdies. The other birdie, again, Jeremy Guff. So we'll move on to hole 5, which is a par 4, 615 feet tunnel gap. They did move this tee pad back recently about 100 feet, so they extended the hole. Really, you just kind of want to throw your most straight or hyzer flip disc right down the middle, bite off a lot of distance. As long as you're kind of in the area and not kicked far left or right, you'll have a chance at getting up and down for your birdie. But Zach there unfortunately hit an earlier tree, so it's going to be a tougher shot with a lot more trees in the way on the approach.
He did get the nice double kick back into the fairway, so that's at least better than being off in the rough there.
Evan's leaking right here. There is some OB with the pathway, but it looks like he avoided that, so fortunately he should have some options there, hopefully getting to the pin. Anthony pulled his over to the right. That's in danger of going OB unless it can hit one of the trees, and it does. It saves him from likely going out to that path.
It was a nice hyzer flip shot. I think the disc itself was just a little too understable. If it would have a little more stability and it just hold, that straight off the flip, I think it would have been a pretty good shot.
And you can see the old tee pad there about 100 feet or so up. So players are still kind of getting used to this added distance off this tee pad. And there's a really good shot there by John. It leaked a little left, but you definitely have some lanes over there. And Zach, he can stare straight at the basket. He's just got a lot of trees in the way, so he's going to have to send something probably flexing a little bit. And he does. Oh, he caught a late one, but he should still get a putt out of that for about circle's edge-ish for his birdie.
It's a really good second shot.
Yep.
After getting knocked down early.
Let's see what Anthony has here. It's a little off-center. Low skip shot. Oh, but he hits a log or a root that Tyler's infamous for. You don't really get a ton of ground play here. Evans off to the right side. It looked like he progressed, but I couldn't really see the disc finish.
I think he got knocked down before it got to the edge of the line of trees there. Another Tyler roller. This one works a little better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if it didn't hit that big log, he probably would have been maybe parked, but you take that, get a putt out of it. It looks like Evan still has a full throw, so he's going to be tapping in for par. And Anthony will have a deep circle 2 look here. He hit a tree, came up short. It's kind of the second time we saw him do that.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those in-betweeners that you want to run it and give yourself a real chance at the birdie, but when you hit the tree there, you drop down, now you have a tough par look.
Yeah, and a great bid there by Zach, just hitting the top of the basket. He'll have a tap-in par. Let's see if John can connect. Nope, looks like we're going to have some par putts here to clean up.
I think John probably went a little further past the basket than he would have liked there. He's going to have a bit of a tester coming back.
Yeah, Anthony's just high there off the mark. Unfortunately, going to take a bogey. He did go a little far. Let's see if he can connect on this, save the par. Just a little low.
I think we're just going to see 4 tap outs here. They're all kind of circling the basket.
Yeah, and I want to add, I played in this tournament, and it was like 95 degrees, probably 75% humidity. It was a scorcher, so everyone's going to be drinking lots of water and, you know, trying to get through these 2 rounds best they can. So let's go to hole 6, which is a 407-foot par 4. You want to throw something straight through this gap and fade left over the A-pin, which is that elevated wall there. It's kind of, again, another 2-shot par 4. The basket is by this kind of dying tree that you have to avoid on your upshot. But other than that, if you can place it just past the A-pin on the left side, you'll be in a good position to get the birdie. It looks like common mistake here. Zach pushed his drive a little bit too far. So wasn't able to hit the fairway, but you know, he'll be able to maybe scramble something from in there to get up and down.
I think he'll have a nice little lefty lean out forehand line there. He's thrown a few of those, and it seems like a shot he's comfortable with, and I think he'll have a decent look from that spot.
Yeah. So it looked like Evan pushed his a little bit too straight, so he'll be a little bit further away from the basket to try and get his birdie, but still possible from there. There is a Mando tree there on the left. I think that may have been what Anthony just struck. But he kicked right, so we'll have to worry about missing the Mando. John pulled his off to the right, but he did hit the gap between those trees, and he's behind the A-pin, so he'll have something from back there. It's just kind of a far shot from, maybe about 250 feet from there to get the birdie. It's like Anthony's just going to try and put one out here on the left side to get on the fairway. Got down really far.
Yeah, there looked to be a big flex line there. I think he was really trying to bite off a lot, and he did. He got himself in a good position.
Should be able to save his par pretty easy from there. Evan's going to have to play this long shot all the way down the fairway. And look at that. He gets right by that dead tree. So he's in the circle putting for his birdie. John, maybe from a similar distance as Evan, I believe. Looks like he's got it coming down right side. It's coming up a little bit shorter. So he's going to be like circle's edge there. Not bad. Let's see what Zach's left with. Looks like he did stay out of the rough. And he threw one right past the basket. He's going to be a little deep there. Probably, again, circle's edge. And Anthony's going to play the skip shot there. Put it right up to the basket. He'll have an easy par. It's
going to be about edge of circle here, it looks like.
Oh, Looks like it was right side chain. Didn't hold.
That was a fair amount of chains to hit coming in on Hyzer for it not to stick, but unfortunate there.
Yeah, that's one you want the basket to catch. Great comeback there from Zach for his birdie. After going a little bit long. So Evan's hoping to join Zach here in the birdie club. There it is. Birdie by Evan.
That was the first hole today to play under par.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the easiest hole on the course, actually. So let's do the check-in through 6 holes. Jeremy Guth's still in the lead at -1, but Evan Van Schie is now joining him also at -1. So you know that actually, if that's Evan's score, that must have been a birdie. So let's go to hole 7, 285-foot par 3. It's a complete tunnel gap shot straight up the middle. There's a hill that slopes left. You don't want your disc going down there. Right side OB. And then the basket is pushed way back on a cliff, so it's a complete death putt unless you can kind of get close. So a lot of these players, if they want the birdie, they're going to try to get within maybe 20 feet of the basket. And we saw Zach shot there, just kind of hitting the ceiling there and dropping. He threw it a little bit too high, it looked like. Evan's going for a Hyzer flip forehand right up the middle. This looks great. He actually went long, and that's OB long. Wow, you don't see that a lot on this hole.
Another one of those where you're really hoping for it to hit something, and the one time it doesn't want to.
You should have about a 25 to 30 foot putt for par from back there once you bring it across the OB line. But it is an elevated basket, so it really makes this putt very tricky. See, Anthony pulled his down the right side.
I think it's in that bush.
There is an OB road over there. I couldn't see. It looks like he's safe. I don't see any sort of OB notation, so it looks like he stayed up on the grass there.
I think Anthony's still trying to find his groove today a little bit. His last drive he released early. That one was a bit of a grip lock, and I think he's trying to find that release point.
John had a nice little hyzer there. It looked like it flipped up flat. It kind of faded out a little early, but I don't think he faded down the hill, so it should be a pretty simple up and down. It looks like Zach actually got really close to the OB road. And he's over by the next tee sign, so he's going to have a pretty lengthy putt on that elevated basket. We'll see if he's running that.
It's actually a specific instance where being a lefty comes in handy because his putt from distance is going to be fading away from the hill slope in that OB, which will allow him to take a nice run at it.
Absolutely, better side of the basket for sure. And then Anthony there with a really nice pitch up. And John there, he kind of goes past the basket, but he did hit the log on the backside, so he'll be in bounds. There it is. What a great putt there by Zach, saving the par. Tremendous save after almost going out of bounds.
So after starting with 3 bogeys, Zach is 2 down through the previous 4 holes. So he's definitely picking his game up.
Absolutely. And a great par save there by Evan after going long OB. That's kind of a tough break, but I think par plays nice on this hole. It's kind of a bonus birdie. John will clean up his par as well. The card actually played this fairly well, all things considered. Give shout out to the only birdie of the day, Jared Shapiro.
I believe that might be our first par frame as a card.
I believe so. So we'll go to hole 8, which is a par 4, 505 feet. For this hole, you want to throw again another tunnel shot, kind of to get out in the middle, and then you have an even tighter gap for your second shot leading to the C pin. There's OB right side, which is plays as the water, submerged in water in the creek. The left side's a little bit more open, so you'll see that'll be kind of the safer miss. As you see, Zach was trying to kind of pull one over there to the left, but he hit a tree. But he got knocked down dead center, so he might be able to manufacture an up and down from there, but it'll be tough.
I think he's had a few of those today, actually. The tree hit to dropping down in the fairway. But
yeah,
it's all about what you do with the breaks you get. So
absolutely. And speaking of good tree hits there, Evan had a nice one that kind of kicked him right back dead center of the fairway. And Anthony's probably the best shot of the bunch there. He still connects with the tree, but it pushes him again out to the center, and that's a great spot to attack the seep in.
Looks like everything the trees have been taken away all day, they're giving back on this hole.
You take them when you can get them at Tyler, that's for sure. Yeah, and John's kind of playing that safe shot. I like playing that shot because you get an option of going over the A pin from there over as well. It's a little tricky to get to C, but it can be done. It's like that's it came out as like a thrower, but that another good kick there. I think all things considered.
Yeah, I think he definitely put more anhyzer on that than he wanted to.
Zach, I don't know if that or Evan. I think that was intentional. He's playing the left side. That was oh wow, he got really far down there. What a shot by Evan. I never even really considered playing that long left side from all the way on the right.
Creative shot, to say the least.
Absolutely. And John also flexing one over to the left. It does open up over there by the B pin. Easy up and down. And Anthony had the best drive of the group, but you can see it's real tight in there. He's trying to play the traditional fairway. And he's there. That should be an easy par save. Zach's got to pipe this up the middle. It looks like he got hung up a little bit there on the right side trees, and he's going to be out again.
Touchy little forehand with still a little ways to go. He's been doing that a lot today, just a little too much. It ended up as a good shot, but a little too much ante on his forehands, I've noticed.
Taking up a long look at birdie here. Comes up a little short. That should be an easy par though. You have to be a little careful on this green. You notice the rock wall. Sometimes your disc, if you send it a little too fast, it can hit and kind of scoot down the hill towards the water. But it looks like everyone's kind of throwing layup shots here to take their par. Let's see if looks like Evan might be lining up to run this. Gives it a bid. It was a safe bid, and you see you get that little roll away, and you don't want it to roll too far because there is a hill over there. Looks like he stayed up though. Good comeback.
Very good par save. It wasn't a far putt, but it was a hard putt.
Those putts matter so much in especially in a tournament like this when the scores are going to be so close. Everyone kind of struggling for their pars. And it looks like we'll have another par frame on hole 8. Oh, I believe Zach's taking a bogey. That's right. He had one additional stroke.
Regardless of that bogey by Zach, the card has definitely picked it up in the second half of this front nine.
Yeah, for sure. I think everyone got their warm-up in. All right, so last hole on the front nine here of par 5, 615 feet. Your tee shot is off to the left going up a very steep hill. So if you can try and put something either 2/3 of the way up the hill or all the way up the hill from these big arms, and then the fairway bends to the right and downhill. And you can see it kind of ends with a stream here, as well as a new bridge and the basket. So it's a really, again, another placement shot, par 5.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, if you see a par 5 distance in the 600s, you know you're going to be in some trouble.
Absolutely. Multiple dogleg bends here on this hole. So looks like Evan kind of pulled it off to the right a little bit. Looks like Anthony got his up. It should be getting up to the hill. Yeah, and he's on the left side of the hill. That's not too bad of a spot. He should be able to manufacture something from there.
The fun thing about the short distance par 5s is there's kind of the two schools of thought. You can either break it down into the individual short shots and just try to, go for placement, or you could just say screw it and try to throw it as far as you can and deal with the consequences after.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tyler your play benefits more the former than the latter. A lot of these holes are really big on placement, especially on the east side where the fairways are a little tighter. It looks like Zach may have kicked over to the right. I couldn't really tell from that angle. But even John's shot, he didn't bite off a ton of distance. He's on the flat below the hill, and that's actually not a bad position. You could still certainly get birdie from there. Looks like Evan threw one up to the hill, but then it kind of rolled out. There is an OB road over there, so you see the cars driving by, but it looks like he stayed safe. The entire road plays as a Mando, just to try to get players to not throw their discs over the road. It's like Zach got back out to the fairway there. And you see this, like John's at the bottom of the hill. He didn't bite off a ton of distance, but he can really get one up there and progress to the B pin, and it's a really good spot if he can get there. Looks like he's a little bit right side, but there is kind of a cheater gap on there that you can get your throw going right down the hill.
Anthony's been liking the forehand flex.
Yep, and this looks like a real good one. Good placement. It's a little bit right, but it's still in a good position to attack the green from there.
It seems to be one of the better shots in his game. He's thrown a few of those forehand flexes so far that have worked out pretty nicely for him.
Looks like Evan was able to pitch out to the fairway. Zach, good spot to get up and down. He's kind of playing the right side. I don't know if that was an early release. He got down the hill, but I don't think he got close enough to get in the circle. And then Evan threw his too low. He got a little skip there, but comes up short like Zach did.
It's definitely too low, but ever so slightly unlucky, because if that would have carried another few feet, it would have crested the hill, and then the height wouldn't have been as much of a factor. But he just clipped the edge of the flat, it looked like.
Yeah, absolutely. And they actually they moved this basket a little bit further back, and the putts on the other side of the creek now are a little bit trickier. They're a little bit further away, but you can see Anthony threw a great shot there. He's going to be putting in the circle. Same with Zach, good up and down there. The creek does play as OB, but submerged in water. However, I think the creek at this time was pretty dried up, so the players didn't really have to worry about that.
Evan with a nice simple hyzer there onto the green.
John with a good circle 2 bid there. Just coming up a little left. There we go, up and over. Great putt by Anthony. He's on the board, first birdie of the day. Good one to get. Good clean-up putt there, first par by Zach. While John's cleaning up, I just wanted to give a shout out to the Bucks County Disc Golf Alliance for all of the course improvements and the maintenance performed ahead of the Great Eastern Am Cup and the Yetter. Specifically, Joe Mela, Ed Carroll, Rex Hay, Dante Del Vecchio, Bill Rodway, Tony Tanaglia, and Frosty. They made the course look great for our players today. end for the whole weekend. And let's take a look at our leaderboard through 9. It looks like we've got Zach and Evan kind of leading the way on our card along with Anthony, and then you have a couple of other guys in the mix, Jeremy Guth and Ryan Young, but it looked like scores were all very, very close. I just wanted to give a shout out too to our sponsors, Elevation Discs. And that's it for the front 9. We're hoping you guys will check us out on the back and hit subscribe on HyzerMedia. Looking forward to it.